What is up everyone, this is Somnath Gaudar from Future Coders. In this video tutorial, we are going to be building this completely responsive portfolio website using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Alright, let's see what exactly are we going to be building in this video. We have this home section with this text. We also have this header section, as you can see over here. If I scroll down, the header background turns to white, as you can see. We also have this custom scroll bar, guys. This is what we will be building, guys. Alright, the next thing which we will be building is this portfolio section. As you can see, portfolio has this amazing hover effect. The image scales up and this content actually appears when I hover on it, making this a cool hover effect. And we'll also be adding this parallax effect, as you can see. Perfectly smooth parallax effect, guys. Next thing, we have this resume section with this education and this experience columns. Alright, next thing, we have this about section with this image. We will have two columns, one for the image and one for this information. We also get these two buttons. Next, we have this client testimonial section with these three testimonials. Next we have these services. We'll also be adding this smooth, as you can see, hover effect, cool hover effect. Alright, next we have our blog section with these three blocks with these hover effects, as you can see. Next we have contact section with the two columns, one for the contact form and that for the contact details. Finally, we will be building this footer, amazing footer section, as you can see. Alright guys, this is what we will be building, and this build is going to be completely responsive. Let me show you that. Right click and hit on inspect. This is what it's gonna look in the tablet screens, as you can see. Completely responsive. It switches to two columns in tablet screens. Completely responsive website. We also get this menu icon in tablet screens. If I click on this, as you can see, our navigation appears and I can navigate through this menu icon. If I click on home, it's gonna take me to the home section, portfolio, resume, about, contact. As you can see, guys, completely responsive and it looks completely premium, guys. This is going to be completely responsive portfolio section, portfolio website, guys. Let me switch to mobile last screens. As you can see, everything switches to one column now. You can navigate through this menu icon, as you can see. Smooth parallax effect. We also have this hover effect. Let's navigate to about section, as you can see. Let's navigate to contact section. We get this nice a form and this contact details and this footer. Let's switch to mobile small screens, guys. Completely responsive website. Let's navigate to home. As you can see, this is what we will be building in this video, and you are going to learn lots of things in this video by building this. Previously we have also built agency website and startup website. If you haven't watched those videos, please make sure you watch those videos also. They're going to help you learn lots about HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and you are going to learn how to make and build completely responsive website. For this video, we'll be building this one. Alright guys, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, and guys, please don't forget to smash that like button right now. Go now and smash that like button. This will help me a lot and it will actually motivate me to do more websites like this. So that's it, guys. Let's start building this. Okay guys, let's start building it. As you already know that before we start building, we need to make some necessary imports. As I said in the beginning that we will be using icons from the Google font icons and also from the Ion icons. So let's head over there and import our code. So as you can see, let's head over to Ion icons, search here for Ion icons, As you can see, Ion Icons provides all of these icons which we can use in our website for free. In order to use these, we need to actually head over to usage. Inside the usage, you will get these two script tags. All you have to do is copy these script tags inside our Visual Studio Code, right above our local JS file. Let's add a comment, Ion Icons, import. Let's turn it into comment and paste it right below this. Alright, now we have imported Ion Icons. Next thing is, let's head over to Google Font Icons, search for Google Font Icons, head over here. As you can see the full list of material icons. As you can see, we need to head over here, my material icons library. Google Fonts actually provides all of these icons. As you can see, these are all the icons which we can use in our website. Similarly, with the Ion icons, we need to head over to developer guide here. Inside the developer guide, we need to actually copy this link tag and paste it inside our CSS right above the CSS file. Let's add a comment, Google Font Icons, paste it right over here. Alright, these were all the necessary imports which we should make, so we are ready to start building. First thing which I will be building is, let's actually right click and open with live server. I'm using an extension called as live server, which you can install by going at the marketplace over here, searching for live server. This one. Alright, inside the index.html, first thing which I will be building is the home section. So inside our body, if you have watched my previous videos, you can see that I actually use comments a lot. So here I will add home section starts, and this comment is for home section ends. Inside this, we are going to have a section with the class name of home and an ID of home. Inside this, we are going to have a h1 with the class name of hero text. This is going to be the big text. Inside this, I will say hello I am. Right after this, I'm going to add a line break by using this and using this br tag, and right after this I will add a span tag saying John Doe. I am John Doe. Let's see what do we have here. As you can see, this is what we have, and actually we'll also have, right after this h1 tag, we'll also have a paragraph saying this is my resume. Alright, there is our text. So that's it for the home section. Inside our CSS file, let's start styling the home section. But before we start styling the home section, we need to add some necessary styling, or you can say default styling. I will select everything. First thing which I will set is font family. I will use this font family, not OCGUI UI, and a fallback font of sans serif. As you can see, our font actually got changed. Right after this, I will clear out any default margin and padding applied by the browser. As you can see, all the default margin and padding applied by the browser is gone. Alright, let me adjust this. Okay, don't worry, this is actually my screen recorder. It actually cuts out over here. Alright, right after this, I will set box sizing to border box. We'll be using buttons, so I will set the outline to none and border to none. Text decoration, since we'll be using anchor tags, they come up with the text decoration, right? We don't want that. And also I will set text transform, not uppercase. I will set it to capitalize. Alright, capitalize, and a transition of 0.2 seconds linear to all the elements. Alright, let's see. Okay, this is what we have. As you can see, the text is actually capitalized. Alright, right after this I will be using CSS variables throughout this project. So let's declare them. I'll add a comment CSS variables. I'll be adding it to the root scope. The first variable is going to be the white. That's going to be this color, white color. Next variable is dark gray. For that I'll be using this dark gray color. Next thing I'll be using a light gray. For this I'll be adding this color. Next thing, dark background. I will name it as dark BG. Here I will add, okay. For the dark BG, that's going to be this color. Another color is going to be light BG. For that I will be adding this hex code. I will also be using an yellow color. That's going to be this hex color. And finally I will be adding box shadow repeatedly, the same thing. So I will make that a variable 0.5 rem, 1 rem, and an RGB value of 0, 0, 0, and alpha value of 0.1. Alright, that's it for our CSS variables here. Next thing which I will be doing is I will be targeting the HTML. For the HTML, I will be reducing the base font size to 62.5%, so that one rem since I will be using rems, so 1 rem is equal to 10 pixels. By default 1 rem will be 16 pixels. If I reduce the base font size to 62.5%, 62.5% of the 16 pixels is 10 pixels. So that means 1 rem equal to 10 pixels now. That makes it easy for me to add measurements, right? So right after this I will add overflow X to hidden scroll behavior. This is what makes our scroll smoothly. Scroll padding top of 6 rems. Alright, that's it for our HTML part. Now for the body, I will be setting a background color of variable this dark BG. As you can see, this color. Alright, now since I'm using a section, I'll be using this section to all the sections. For example, I will be using the same section for the services section, for the about section, for everything. So for the section here, I'll be having a padding of 5 rem to the top and bottom and 9% to the left and right. So that's it. Now coming to styling our home section, over here I will add a comment home. This is where our home stylings go in. I will target the home. As you can see, I have given a class of home, right? I'll be targeting that entire home. I will set height of 100 view height. I will set a background of linear gradient, an RGBA value of 0, 0, 0, and alpha value of 0.5, and the RGBA value of 0, 0, 0, and alpha value of 0.5. Right after this, I will be setting a background image URL that's going to be inside the images folder, that hero image.jpg. Don't worry, you will get this image from the link in the description box. I'll be providing a link to my website. There you can download all the images. Alright, that's it for the image. Let's see. As you can see, there we have our image. To further style it, I will turn the image into a black and white by saying filter grayscale to 100%. As you can see, now the image is grayscale. I will set background size to cover, background position to center and background attachment to fixed. This piece of code is what makes the parallax effect, guys. The image actually is fixed to that this width, this height. Okay, as you can see, this is what we have. Right after this, let's actually center this text in the center. Here I will use flexbox by saying display of flex, align items to the center, justify content to the center, flex direction is going to be column, and text align center. Alright, let's see. As you can see, there we have our text aligned centrally. Right of this, I will be targeting that which we gave a hero text class. So let's target that. Home hero text. For the hero text, I'll be adding a font size of 7 rem to make it big, a color of the text to this variable white, font weight to 200, and a line height of 1.2. So this is what it looks right now. Inside this we also have a span tag, right? For the span tag, as you can see, we inside this h1 we have the span tag. Let's actually target that. For the span, I will change the font weight to 800 to make it bold. As you can see, this is what it looks right now. Alright, right of this we also have a paragraph, right? As you can see, there we have our paragraph. Let's style that. Inside the home, we have a paragraph. For the paragraph, I will change the color to this variable dark gray. Let's increase the font size to 1.5 rem, margin top of 2 rems, text transform to uppercase. Let's also add a letter spacing, that is space between each letters of point, not normal, 0.3 rems. There we go. As you can see, there we have our completed home section. Next thing which I'll be building is the header section, or you can call it as a navigation section. So let's start building that. So now it's time to build our header section. Inside our index.html, right after this home section ends, we will be creating not right after the home section. Header section is going to be on the top of our home section, right? Alright, here I will add a header section starts and ends. Inside this, I will create a header with the class name of header. Inside this, I will be having an anchor tag, and inside this, I'm not going to have any href. Inside this, I will be using an icon from the Google font icons. That's going to be the menu icon. Let's head over to Google Fonts icons. As you can see, you need to make sure you set the field version here and search for menu. As you can see, there we have our menu icon. All you have to do is click on this, and they will provide an import code. Copy this, paste it inside our index.html right in the middle of anchor tag. Since we will be using these span tags for other purpose, I will be changing it to I. That's make it more suitable, meaning that saying that this is an icon, right? So that's it. Let's see. As you can see, there we have our icon. Don't worry, I will be styling that. Alright, next thing, right after this icon, I will be having a navigation. So let's define that nav with the class name of navbar. Inside this, I'm going to have anchor tags. The first one is going to be for the home. The next one is going to be for portfolio. Once we are done with portfolio, we'll do resume. After resume, we will do about, and finally there's going to be a contact. Alright, let's see. As you can see, there we have our navigation and our menu icon. That's it for the HTML part. Now it's time to style it. Here I will add inside our CSS file. Here I will add comments, header. Let's target our header. As you can see, we have given it a class name of header, right? So for that, I will be setting a position of fixed. It's going to be at the top, from top 0, left 0, and right 0. I will also add a padding of 5 rem to the top and bottom and 9% to the left and right. Z index of 100, so it always stays on top and has the highest priority. Let's see. As you can see, there we have our header section. Now I am going to target our header and this nav bar. For the nav bar, I will be setting display of flex, align items to the center, justify content to the center. Let's see. Alright, there we have everything aligned to the center except for this icon. I'm not going to center it. It is actually in the place where I need it, so I'm not going to style it much. I'll be only adding color to it, so or I will be making it big. Let's target the anchor tags which are inside the nav bar. Okay, wrong brackets. Okay, here for the anchor tags I will set the font size to 1.5 rems, a color of variable white, padding 0 and 2 rem to the left and right, letter spacing of 0.3 rems, and font weight of 300, text transform uppercase. Let's see what do we have. As you can see, there we have our navigation almost complete. Let's actually target our menu here, header menu. Remember, I actually need to give another class saying menu. Let's actually target that inside the header. We have the menu. For the menu, I will set the font size to 2.5 rem, color of variable white, cursor pointer, text align to the left, and display of none. Let's actually, instead of setting display of none, let's actually see it now. As you can see, there we have our menu icon styled. So we are not going to need this menu icon inside our desktop version, right? We are only going to display in tablet screens and in mobile screens. So for now, I will set it as display of none, so that it goes away, and we don't want to display it in our desktop version. So that's it for the header section. Don't worry, we still need to add some more functionality to the header. So for example, if I scroll down, the background should turn to white. So we'll be doing that once we complete our next section, that is portfolio section. So we'll do that right after that. So let's start building portfolio section. Let's head over to our index.html file. Right after our home section ends, we are going to have our portfolio section. So before we start building portfolio section, guys, I want you to pause this video and hit that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel, guys. I really put lots of efforts in making these videos. It will really help me a lot if you like and subscribe to my channel. So let's continue. Alright, Right after this home section ends, we are going to have our section. Sorry, let's actually add comment. Portfolio section starts, and another comment for portfolio section ends. So here let's define a section with a class name of portfolio and an ID of portfolio. Inside this we are going to have a h1 with a class name of heading. Inside this heading we are going to have featured. Right after this we are going to have span tag, featured portfolio. Alright. Right after this we are going to have a box container. Inside this box container I will be having a box. Inside this box I will be having an image container. Inside this I will be having an image. The source is going to be images / portfolio1.jpg. Alright, this image I will be using this image. Right after this image, inside this image only we are going to have a content with a div with the class name of content. Inside this I will have a s2 saying project 1. Alright, that's it for the portfolio section for the first image. Similarly, we are going to have 6 of these boxes. So for the second one, let's change the image to portfolio 2 and project 2. Let's paste this again, portfolio 3, project 3, portfolio 4, project 4, 2 more times guys, right, portfolio 5, project 5, and final time portfolio 6 and project 6. Alright, let's check this out. As you can see, there we have our featured portfolio text and our images guys. Okay, that's it for our HTML part. Now it's time for our CSS. Right below this header I am going to have a comment saying portfolio. For the portfolio here, first thing which I'll be targeting is this heading, where we have this heading. As you can see, we have the heading, right? This heading will be this heading class will be used repeatedly. So let's make this an utility class. I will be defining this utility classes right after this section. So here I will add this heading class. For the heading, I will set color of this variable white, font size of 3 rem, font weight of 200, text align center, and a padding bottom of 4 rem. Alright, we also have inside the heading we also have a span, right? As you can see, I want this portfolio to be bold, so let's target that. Inside the heading we have the span. For the span I will simply set font weight to 700. That's it. As you can see, there we have our portfolio bold. As you can see, you might have already observed that this header, as you can see, if I scroll down, nothing actually happens. Don't worry, we'll fix that once we are done with our portfolio section. Alright, let's continue with our portfolio. We are done with our utility class. Let's head over to our portfolio here. Alright, for the portfolio, let's actually fix the image before we do anything. For the image, as you can see, it's very big, right? For the image, where we have this image inside the box container, inside the box we have this image container. So let's target that. Inside the portfolio we have the box container. Inside the box container we have the box, and inside the box we have the image container, right? So for that I will set height of 30 rem, overflow hidden position of relative. Let's see. As you can see, now we have set height of 30 rem. Inside this image container we have the actual image. Let's target that. I will set width of 100%, height of 100%, and object fit to cover to maintain its aspect ratio. Alright, right of this image I'll be using grid to make 3 columns. Alright, let's see. I'll be targeting the box container. That's because we want these boxes to turn to columns, so I need to target this box container which is containing all of these boxes. For that I will say display of grid. To activate our grid, I'll say grid template columns. I'll be using the repeat function so that we will repeat the same styling to all of those columns. So here I will say auto fit min max. Minimum value is going to be 30 rem and one fraction is going to be maximum. So if it fails to be that if the width actually fails to be 30 rem, it will switch to one fraction. The minimum width of each element is going to be 30 rem. It will repeat for all the columns the same things, and it will try to auto fit. It will automatically adjust until it reaches 30 rem. Once it reaches 30 rem and below, it will switch to one fraction. So that's how it works. I will also add a gap of 4 rem in between those. So let's see. As you can see, there we have our grid, guys. As you can see, we have actually turned them into 3 columns now. Alright, right after this I'll be targeting box, where we inside the box container we have the box, right? For the box I'll be using a background color of this variable light bg. I'll also be adding a padding of 1 rem, a light box shadow of the variable which we already declared, that is box shadow. Let's see. As you can see, there we have our light bg and our padding and our slight subtle box shadow. As you can see, now the only thing left is adding hover effects. So let's add hover effect. The first hover effect, when I hover on the box, I want the image, the actual image, to transform and scale to 1.2. So when I hover on it, the image actually, as you can see, grows, or you can say scales. And the hover effect is going to be for the content. So when I hover on the image or the box, the content should show, which we have defined, as you can see, which we have defined over here. For that, first let's actually target. Inside the box we have the image, inside the image we have the content, right? Let me show you. Inside the image we have this content. For the content, I'll set a position of absolute. As you can see, I have already set the parent to position relative, so I'll be setting the position absolute. Left to 0, bottom to 0, right to 0. I will also add a background color of this variable light background, padding of 1 rem. Let's also use display of flex, align items to the center, justify content to the center. Let's see what do we have. As you can see, there we have our content being displayed. We further need to style it. I will target the h2, that is inside the content. For the h2, I will say font size to 2 rem. I will set the color to this variable white. Let's also add some letter spacing of 0.1 rem and text transform to uppercase. Let's see, as you can see, that's how it looks. So in order to make that appear when I hover, first thing which I will do is I will send it away by saying transform translate y to 100% so that it goes away. As you can see, it doesn't display. So I want to display when I hover on it. So when I hover on the box inside the image, we have the content, right? I will set transform translate y to 0 so that it appears when I hover on the box. As you can see, that's what makes this cool hover effect, guys. Now we have completed our portfolio section. Next thing which I will be doing is, fixing this header, and then I will be adding a custom scroll bar. As you can see, this ugly looking scroll bar, right? I'll be making it custom and we'll style it how we want it. So let's start fixing our header section over here. So in order to fix our header, we need to have a custom class so that when we scroll down, it actually makes our header background turn to white. So that for that I'll need to use JavaScript. Using JavaScript, I can determine when the user scrolls down. For example, like this. So when I scroll down, the header background should turn to white. For that, let's head over to our JavaScript file. Here I will add a function on the document, that is on scroll. This is a default function provided by the JavaScript, which I will be using on the document. So when we scroll the document, here the document refers to this website, guys, this whole document which we are working on, right? So here document.onScroll, when we scroll, we need to check if window.scrollY is greater than 0. If window.scrollY, that this is a value which actually comes when I scroll. This value determines how much actually I scrolled. If I scroll down, the value is going to change, right? It's not going to remain 0. When I don't scroll down, it's going to be 0, but if I scroll down, the value is going to change, right? That's why if window.scrollY is greater than 0, if it is greater than 0, that means we have scrolled down, right? So for when I scroll down, I want to select our using query selector. I will target our header, the whole header. I will select the whole header. As you can see, for the header we have this class name, right? That's what I'm targeting. I will select the header and I will add class list. I will add another class to that saying active class. Don't worry, I have not yet defined this active class, which I will be defining once we are done with our JavaScript file. So when we scroll down, I want to add this active class, else I want to remove this active class. That's it. Alright. If this value is greater than 0, that means we have scrolled. We will be adding that active class which turns the background to white, and else defines if the value is equal to 0, that means we will be removing the active class. We don't want the background to white, right? So similarly, we'll copy this and we'll also add onload, so that when the website loads, same things actually happens. Alright, that's it for our JavaScript. Inside our CSS, where we have the header styles, over here, let's define it over here. We'll have an active class. When this header has an active class, we'll say I will change the background color to this variable white, I will also reduce some padding, 3 rem to the top and bottom, 9% to the left and right. By default it will be having 5 rem to the top and bottom, so I'll be reducing it to 3 rem when I scroll down. Alright. Similarly, let's actually see if this works. As you can see, if I scroll down, the background turns to white, as you can see. Okay, let's make those anchor tags. Let's style those anchor tags. When the header is having the active class, then inside the navbar we have the anchor tags, right? For the styling, I will change the color to this variable dark bg. Let's see. As you can see, we have changed the color when I scroll down. Alright, let's continue. We'll also add a hover effect on the anchor tags. When the header is active, I will change the color to this variable yellow when I hover on it. The hover effect doesn't actually work yet. When I scroll down, as you can see, hover effect actually works. Alright. Next thing which I'll be targeting is, we also have this menu, right? Let's see, let's actually remove the display none. As you can see, we have this menu icon, right? If I scroll down, as you can see, it turns to white, right? We also need to style that, right? So here we have, when the header is active, for the menu I will also change the color to this variable dark bg. As you can see, it works now. Alright, let's actually set it to display none now. As you can see, it works perfectly, guys. There we have fixed our header, guys. Alright, the next thing which I'll be doing is adding custom scroll bar. As you can see, we have this ugly looking scroll bar, right? We'll turn it into to look something nice. So let's do that. In order to do that, let's head over at the top where we define the HTML. Right after this, I will say HTML WebKit scroll bar. I will set the width to 1 rem. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't actually work right now. First thing which I need to explain you something. All right. Let's head over to our website. As you can see, this is moving, right? This scroll bar is moving. The moving one is actually called as scroll bar thumb. Okay, on the thumb on which it moves, as you can see, it moves on this scroll bar, right? It is actually called as track. The thumb moves on the scroll bar track. This is actually called as track, and this is thumb. Alright, we can actually select those. Let's head over there. Let's actually select a WebKit scroll bar. First thing which I'll be doing is, so I will be targeting the track. For the track, I will set the background to this variable white, and the next thing which I'll be targeting is is thumb. For the thumb, I will set background to this variable light background. Let's see, it is actually not working. Let's see why it is not working. Alright, this needs to be a single. Alright, now it will actually work. As you can see, there we have our custom scroll bar, guys. As you can see, we have added scroll bar thumb color to this light background and the scroll bar track to white. As you can see, there we have our custom scroll bar. Alright, next thing which I'll be building is, I'll be building our resume section. So let's start building our resume section. So inside our index.html, right after our portfolio section, we are going to have our resume section. Let's create a section with a class name of resume and an ID of resume. I will be having a h1 with the heading class which we already defined, so those styles will be applied to this heading. This will say my, we'll have a span tag inside this. Inside the span I will say resume. Let's see. As you can see, there we have our heading. Right after this heading we are going to have a call container. We will be defining two columns, so I will name it as call container. Inside this call container we'll have a column. Inside this column we'll have a s2 saying education. Right after this we'll have a box. Inside the box we'll have a span containing an icon. The icon which we'll be using is, let's head over to our Google font icons. I will say calendar today. I'll be using this icon, so let's click on this and copy this, import code, paste it over here. As you already know that span tags, so I will be renaming it as itag. Alright, let's see, there we have our icon. So right after this icon we'll be having an h3 saying masters in computer science. Right after this h3 we'll have a paragraph with lorem of 15 words, and right after this we'll have another paragraph saying having a class name of university. University is going to be New York University. Alright, that's it for our single box over here. Like this we are going to have 4 boxes in total. So let's define the second one. For the second one it's going to be the same one. Alright, let's actually define third, fourth one. Alright, there we have our 4 boxes similarly like this. Alright, I actually forgot to add something over here. It's going to have a date over here, Jan 2019 to Jan 2020. Let's copy this, paste it over here. Let's also add space over here. This one is going to be Jan 2020 to 2021. Let's copy this. Here I will add 2021, 2022. Alright, similarly let's copy this again and paste it over here. It's going to say 2022 to present. Alright, similarly what I will do is I will copy this whole column and paste this again. For the second column the date is going to be the same. I will be changing this h3. Let's select all these h3s and I will change them to lead software developer. Alright, let's actually see what we have here. As you can see, this is all the content which we already defined in our HTML. So that's it for our HTML part. Now it's time for our CSS to do the magic. Let's scroll down. Right of this portfolio we are going to have a resume. Alright, in the resume we have this call and this box. So let's target that first. I will select resume and call. Inside this call we have those boxes, so I will select box, background color to this variable light background. I will also add a padding of 2.5 rem all around, margin of 2 rem to the top and bottom, and 0 to the left and right. I will also add a slight box shadow, which we already defined. So box shadow of this variable box shadow. Let's see. As you can see, this is what we will have. Alright, let's continue styling it. Now it's time to define those columns. What I will do is, I actually forgot to add here call container. It's okay, but this is for our readability. And alright, call container, we have inside the call container we have the call, inside this call we have the box. As you can see, I can read it perfectly, right? Alright, for the call container we have those two columns, right? So it's time to use CSS grid to define those two columns. Here I'll activate display grid. I will say grid template columns. I will use the repeat function, auto fit. I will add min max of 30 rem and 1 fraction, and I need to actually add a gap of 4 rem in between those columns. As you can see, now we have defined those two columns. So now it's time to style these things. First thing which I will be doing is, where we have this resume, we have the call container, we have the call. Inside this we have s2, right? That's what I will be targeting now. Let's see. Inside the call container we have the call, we have the box. Inside this call only we have the s2, not inside the box, right? As you can see, this is outside the box. Alright, for the box I will set the font size to 2.5 rem and the color of this variable white, font weight of 200, padding bottom of 2 rem. Alright, let's see. As you can see, there we have our heading. I actually need to change this to experience, so let's change that. Inside our index.html I need to change this to experience. Alright, now let's actually style these things. Next thing which I'll be targeting is the span tag, that is going to be the icon. Inside the call we have the box and span. For the span I will set the color to this variable white. I will add a font size of 1.7 rem, display of flags, align items to the center. Let's see. Alright, this is how it's gonna look. Next thing which I'll be targeting is, inside the span we have that I tag, right, for the icon. I will say padding to the right of 0.5 rem, font size of 1.7 rem. Right, let's see. There we go. Next thing which I'll be targeting is, inside the box we have our s3. Okay, wrong brackets. As you can see, inside the box we have this s3, right? That's what I'm targeting now. For the s3 I will set the color to this variable yellow, font size 2 rem, margin to the top of 1 rem, font weight of 400. As you can see, there we have our s3 styled. Next thing which I'll be targeting is the paragraph which is inside the box. So let's do that. For the paragraph I will set the font size to 1.7 rem, color to this variable dark gray, margin to the top of 1 rem, line height of 1.5, text transform to none. Let's see. As you can see, there we have our paragraph we also have this paragraph. We have given it a separate class called as university. So let's target that. Inside the box we have university. For the university, I will set the color to this variable light gray, text transform to capitalize. Alright, as you can see, there we have our completed resume section. As you can see, it's going to be completely responsive. I will show that in a while. Alright, right after my resume section, I'm going to have an about section. We have built our portfolio section, we have built our home section, we have this header section, we have this resume section. As you can see, next thing which I'll be doing is the about section. So let's start building our about section. So inside our index.html, let's head over there. Right below our resume section ends, we will have our about section. Alright, let's define our section with class name of about and an ID of about. Inside this we are going to have our box container. Inside this box container, for the first box, I will define the first box. The first box is going to have an image container. Inside this image container is going to have an image. The source is going to be this image and this hero image.jpg. Alright, right after this image, we are not going to have anything. That's it for this box. We are going to have another box. Inside this box, we are going to have a heading, which we have already defined. Is going to be about. Inside the span, let's define about me. Right after this heading, a paragraph with lower m of 30 words. We'll have another paragraph with lower m of 15 words. Alright, that's it for the about section HTML. Now it's time to work with CSS. For the about here, let's add comment. About here, let's see what do we have here. As you can see, we have this image. Let's actually work on the image. Let's head over CSS. Okay, where we have the image, we have this about, we have this box container, we have this box, and then we have this image. So here we have the about, box container, we have the box. Inside this box we have the image container. For the image container, I will set the height of 100% and overflow hidden. That's it. Now let's actually select the actual image which is inside the image container. I will set the width of 100%, height of 100%, object fit to cover. Alright, now let's actually use our grid to create those two columns. Here inside the box container, we have those two boxes, right? I need to turn them into columns, so I will activate our display of grid. I will select the grid template columns, repeat function, auto fit, min max of 30 rem and 1 fraction. I will also add a gap of 4 rem between those. As you can see, there we have our two columns, guys. Alright, now inside the box container, I want to target these paragraphs now. So here I will say box container, we have the box. Inside this box we have the paragraph. For that I will set color to this variable dark gray, margin bottom of 2 rem, font size of 1.7 rem, letter spacing of 0.1 rem, line height of 1.5. let's save. And I will also add text transform to none. By default it was set to capitalize, so we don't want capitalize here, so we'll say text transform to none. As you can see, there we have our paragraph. Alright, now next thing which I'll be targeting is I also forgot to add our buttons here. Right after this paragraph we are going to have two buttons. I'll define an anchor tag href, and here the class is going to be btn. First button is going to be hire me, next button is going to say download cv. Alright, these are the two buttons which we'll be having inside this box. Alright, let's actually style this btn. This btn is also going to be an utility class, so I will be defining it above right after the heading. Here I will say btn. For the btn I will add a background color of this variable yellow, font size of 1.7 rem, padding only padding of 1 rem to the top and bottom, 2 rem to the left and right, border radius of 2 rem, text color is going to be this variable white, text transform to uppercase so that all the text all the letters are in uppercase, margin right to the 1 rem. We'll also have display inline block. We'll also add a margin to the top of 1 rem. So that's it for the button. Let's see what do we have. As you can see, there we have our buttons. And also that's it for our about section. The next thing which we will be building is our clients section. So let's start building that. Guys, if you have made it till now and build this about section with me, don't forget to give yourself a pat on your back. You are doing a great job. You have learned lots of things. Alright, and guys, don't forget to smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. So let's start building our client section. So inside our right after our about section ends, we'll have our clients section starts, and this is our client section ends. Let's define a section with the class name of clients and an ID of clients. Inside this we are going to have an h1 with the class name of heading. Inside this heading, let's say client. Inside the span we will have testimonial. Alright, that's it for our heading. Right after this heading we are going to have box container. We are going to have 3 boxes inside this. For the first box I will add an image. The image is going to be this image. Source is going to be this image slash person1.jpg. Alright, right after this image we are going to have a content division. This content is going to have a paragraph. Inside the quotes we are going to have a lorem with 18 words. Okay, it's not actually working like this. Let's define lorem with 18 words and add our double quotes over here. Alright, right after this paragraph we are going to have another paragraph. It's going to say Ethan CEO. Inside the span we will have XYZINC. That's it for the first box. Like similarly we are going to have 2 more of these, so let's define those. I will change the person to. Let's keep the rest of the things as the same. The third one is going to be the person3.jpg. Alright, let's see. As you can see, there we have our client testimonial section. Let's style it inside the CSS. Right after this about, I'm going to define clients. First thing which I'll be targeting is the image container. So I can do that by saying clients. Inside the box container we have the box, we have the image container. For the image, sorry, wrong brackets. For the image, let's say width of 12 rem, height of 12 rem, overflow hidden, margin 0 to the top and bottom, and auto to the left and right. Let's see. As you can see, there we have our image. Let's actually target the actual image now. For the actual image, I will set width of 100%, height of 100%, object fit, cover, border radius of 50%. That's it. As you can see, there we have our image. Right after we are done with the image, let's actually target the box which is containing all of these things. Let's target that. We'll select only the box. For the box, I will add text align to the center so that all the text aligns to the center. Background color to this variable light background. Padding of 2.5 rem to rem all around. Let's also add a box shadow of this variable box shadow. Let's see. As you can see, there we have it. Alright, now it's time to actually add our it's actually time to activate our grid and make those columns responsive columns. For that, I need to select the box container. For the box container, I will activate the display of grid template columns, repeat function, auto fit, min max of 30 rem and 1 fraction. Right, let's also add a gap between those 4 rem. As you can see, there we have our client section. Now we need to style these things, so let's do that. First, let's target the inside the box. We have the content. For the content, I will add a margin to the top of 2 rem. Alright, so that we have space over here. Right after this content, I'm going to target those paragraphs. As you can see, we have these 2 paragraphs. I want a little bit of different stylings to each of these paragraphs. I have not given any separate class names for those. Then how I can select these? So I'll be using the nth child method, or else you can add separate classes for these and style differently, or you can do as I'm doing over here. Inside the content we have the paragraph, so I will add nth child, and this means that I will be selecting the first paragraph. So for the first paragraph, I will add a font size of 1.7 rems, color of this variable dark gray, margin bottom of 2 rem, line height of 1.5, letter spacing of 0.1 rem, and text transform none. Let's see. As you can see, we have styled the first paragraph by saying nth child of 1. Similarly, I can style the second paragraph by saying nth child of 2, and for that I will set font style and I will set it as let's say italic. Alright, I will set it as italic, not initial, italic, or you can pronounce it as italic. Font size of 1.5 rem and a color of this variable light gray. Alright, let's see what do we have here. As you can see, this is what we have here, but I want separate styling for this XYZ INC, and I have also added it inside the span. So here I will say nth child of 2. Inside this paragraph we have the span. For the span I will add a color of this variable yellow, and I don't want italic, so I will set font style to normal. That's it. As you can see, there we have our completed client section, guys. The next thing which I'll be building is services section. As you can see, we have this client section, we have built this about section with these 2 columns. Here we have 3 columns. Here we have 2 columns, as you can see in my resume. We have education, we have experience, as you can see. Inside the portfolio we have this amazing hover effect. Guys, we have built lots of things and we have learned lots of things, and we have yet to build more, guys. The next thing which I'll be building is services section. So let's start building that. So let's head over to our index.html. Right after our client section ends, we are going to have our services section starts, and this is where our service section ends. Inside this, let's define our section with the class name of services and an ID of services. Inside this, we are going to have h1 with a class name of heading. It's going to say my. Inside the span, let's say services. There we have our heading. Right after our heading, we are going to have our box container. Inside this box container, we will have box. We are going to have 3 boxes. So inside the first box, we will be adding icon. Let's head over to our Google font icons. Select here grid view. As you can see, this is the icon which we will be using. So click on that. They will provide the import code. Copy this and paste it over here. I will be changing this span to this eye. Now we have this icon. Right after this icon, we are going to have an h2 saying web design. We will have a paragraph with the lorem of 20 words. Right after this paragraph, we are going to have a button. It's not going to have the button stylings which we already defined. So here I will add an href and a class of bt and 2. This is going to be the button stylings 2. Alright. Inside this, we are going to have a text saying learn more. Right after this, we'll have another icon that's going to be navigate next. This one. Let's copy the import code, paste it over here, and change the span to I. That's it. Let's see. Alright, there we have it. Similarly, like this, we're going to have 2 more of these. So let's copy this, paste it again. This time the icon is going to be this icon, main icon is going to be, let's search for that, smart display. This one. Copy the import code, paste it over here, change this to I. That's it. Also change this to video editing. Right after this, we're going to have one more one. This icon is going to be, let's search here for poll. Copy this, copy the import code, paste it over here, change this to I, edit this to search engine optimization. Alright, that's it. Let's check this out. As you can see, there we have our all markup completed. Now it's time to head over to our CSS and style it. Right after clients we have services. First thing which I'll be doing is dividing this into 3 columns. So let's do that first. We'll select services. Inside services we will have box container. I will activate grid template columns, repeat function, auto fit, min max of 30 rem and 1 fraction. Let's also add a gap between those of 4 rem. That's it. As you can see, now we have these 3 columns similar to our client test measure section. Alright, these are going to be responsive columns, guys. Alright, I will show that in a while. Right after this, now let's actually target the box. Inside the box container we have the box. For the box I will set background color to this variable light background. I will also add a padding of 2.5 rem all around. Text align to the center. Let's also add a box shadow of this variable box shadow which we already defined. Let's check this out. Alright, this is what we have. Now it's time to style this icon. Let's head over to our index.html. I also forgot to add an icon class over here. Let's add that icon over here. Icon. That's it. That's what we'll be targeting now. Inside the box we have that icon which we just added. For that I will set the font size to 4 rem. Color of variable this light PG. Background color of this variable yellow. Padding of 2.5 rem all around. Border radius of 50% to make it rounded. Margin bottom 2 rem. That's it. As you can see, this is what we will have. Right over this, I'll be targeting this S2 which we have inside the box. This S2, let's do that. Inside the box we have the S2. For the S2, let's add a font size of 2 rem. Color of this variable white. Font weight of 400. Margin bottom 2 rem. That's it. Right now it's time to target this paragraph. Inside the box we have this paragraph. For the paragraph I will set the font size first of 1.7 rem. Color of this variable dark gray. Margin bottom 2 rem. Line height of 1.5. Text transform to none. Letter spacing of 0.1 rem. That's it. As you can see, there we have our paragraph styled. Now it's time to target this btn which we have given a class of btn2 inside the box, where we have given this btn2. As you can see, let's target that. For the btn2 I will set the font size of 1.7 rem. Color of this variable yellow. Let's have display of flex. Justify content to the center. That's it. As you can see, there we have our learn more button btn. So to add the hover effect which I showcased in the beginning, I need to target the icon. When I hover on this btn2, the icon should have a padding to the left of 1.5 rem, making this cool hover effect, guys. Observe. As you can see, when I hover on it, this icon is going to have a padding of left 1.5 rem. That's why it pushes this icon away, as you can see. Alright guys, now we have completed our services section guys. The next thing which I'll be building is the blogs section. So let's start building that. So let's head over to our index.html. Right after our services section ends, we will have our blogs section starts. And this is where it ends. So here, let's define a section with a class name of blogs and an ID of blogs. Inside this, let's define h1 with the class name of heading. Heading is going to say my. Inside the span, we will have blogs. There we have our heading. Once after h1, we will have a box container. Inside this, we will have a box. Inside the box, we will have an image container. This is going to contain the actual image, the image's source, and the image is going to be this post1.jpg. Alright, right after this image container, we will have the content. Inside the content, we are going to have the post title. I will define an s2, and the post title is going to be creative product designer, and the paragraph with the lorem of 15 words. Right after the paragraph, we are going to have span tag. Inside the span tag, we are going to have icon. Let's search for that. Calendar today. This icon. Copy this. Paste it over here. Change this to I tag. And this is going to say January, Jan 9 and 2022. Alright. Similarly, we are going to have another icon. Let's search for over here. That's going to be the chat bubble icon. This one. Let's copy this. Copy the import code. Replace it over here and change the span to I. Alright, here I will also change 5 comments. Alright, that's it for the single post. Alright, similarly we are going to have 2 more of this. So let's copy this and change the image to post 2. Rest of the things will remain the same. Alright, okay. Let's copy this again and paste it over here. This is going to be the post 3. That's it. Let's save and check. As you can see, there we have our blog section. Let's inside the CSS file. Let's actually fix the image. First, let's add comment. Let's select blogs, box container. Inside the box, we have the image. Wrong brackets. Okay. I will set the height to 30 rem. Overflow hidden. That's it. Let's actually select the actual image. For the actual image, I will set width to 100%, height to 100%, object fit to cover. That's it. Alright, now it's time to activate our grid. I will target box container, which is containing all of those boxes, which needs to be turned to columns. So here I will say display grid template columns, repeat function, auto fit min max, 30 rem minimum value and 1 fraction maximum value. Let's also add a gap of 4 rem. That's it. As you can see, there we have our block section, guys, with these 3 columns, responsive columns. Now let's actually select our box. Box is each of those posts. I will select background color of this variable light bg. We have this light bg as background. Next thing which I'll be targeting is the content which is inside the box. As you can see, inside the box we have this content. That's what I am targeting now. For the content, I will have a padding of 2.5 rem all around. That's it. As you can see, there we have the content. Right after we have done that, inside the content we have the S2, that is post title. For the S2, I will say font size of 2 rem. Let's set the color of the text to this variable white. Font weight of 400. Margin bottom 2 rem. That's it. As you can see, there we have our text. Once we are done with our S2, we're going to have our paragraph. For the paragraph, I will set the color to this variable dark gray. Margin bottom of 2 rem. Font size of 1.7 rem. There we go, our paragraph. Inside the paragraph we also have span containing this text and this icon, right? Let's target that. Inside the content we have the span. For the span, I will set font size of 1.5 rem. I will also add a color of this variable light gray. Margin right 2 rem. Let's check. Alright, there we have it. We still need to style this icon. Inside the span, we have the icon. I will set the font size to 1.7 rem. And I will also add a vertical align of minus 0.3 rem. That's it. As you can see, now we have this perfectly aligned blog. We still need to add hover effect over here. To add our hover effect to the span, when I hover on the span, I want the color to change to this variable yellow and change the cursor to pointer. That's it. As you can see, when I hover on it, as you can see, the cursor turns to pointer and we have this cool hover effect. That's it for the blog section. Now we will be building our contact section. We have built our my services section. As you can see, with this hover effect, we have this client testimonial section, we have this about me section, we have this resume section, we have this featured portfolio, and we have this home section. Next thing we will be building is our contact section. So let's start building that. Alright, let's head over to our index.html. Right after our blog section, we are going to have our contact section starts. And this is where our contact section ends. Let's define a section with a class name of contact and an ID of contact. Inside this we are going to have h1 with a class name of heading. This heading is going to say get inside the span. It will be in touch. Get in touch. Alright, let's see. As you can see, there we have our heading. Right after this, we are going to have inside the contact section, we are going to have 2 columns. So here I will say, you can actually say box container or you can say call container. This time let's use call container, so that we are going to have 2 columns. Let's say call container. Inside this we will have a column. Inside this column, first column, we'll have S2 saying get in touch. Right after this, we'll have input of type text. Placeholder is going to say your name. Let's copy this 2 more times. The second one is going to be email. placeholder text, change this to your email. For the third input, let's say your phone. We'll also have a text area with a placeholder of write a message. That's it. Finally, we will have a button with a class name of button. This is going to say send message. Remember, we have already styled and defined it as utility class, so the stylings of btn will be applied to this button as well. Once we are done with this column, we'll have another column. Inside this column, we are going to have my contact details. Alright, I need to define this inside S2. My contact details. Here I will say with paragraph. Here inside the paragraph we will have email. I will have a spam site@gmail.com. That's it. There is another way of adding some line breaks. By adding line breaks we can add some spaces. So here I will add 2 spaces. Right after these spaces I will define a paragraph with a phone. Phone is going to contain, inside the span, phone is going to contain this number. You can add any number. Alright, let's also add 2 more breaks to add some space between these. Let's define a paragraph saying facts. Let's also add a span. Inside the span I will add the same number as a facts. Alright, let's add 2 more of this again to add some space. Here I will say paragraph saying address. Inside the span we'll have some address. It's going to say San Francisco CA. We'll have a break, a line break, 4th floor, 8 lower. We can have any address over here. You can define your address. Here I will say San Francisco Street M150. You can define anything you want. Alright, let's see what do we have here. As you can see, right after this email we have some space, we have some space again, we have some space here. That's what I meant. We can add some space by adding line breaks as well. This is what I wanted to showcase. So we are done with our contact section HTML inside our CSS. Let's add some comment here. Contact. For the contact, let's actually divide this into 2 columns now. Here I need to target the the call container. Contact call container. I will activate display of grid template, columns, repeat function, auto fit, min max, 25 rem and 1 fraction. Let's also add a gap of 6 rem. That's going to be lots of gap. As you can see, now here defined it as 2 columns, each of having minimum of 25 rem as width. That's it. Inside the call container, inside the call we have that s2, so let's define that. Call s2. What I mean is, inside the contact, inside the call container, inside the call we have this s2, right? That's what I'm targeting. For that I will say font size of 2.5 rem. I will also add a color of this variable white. Font weight of 200. Padding bottom of 5 rem. That's it for the s2. Let's see. As you can see, we have this S2. The next thing which I'll be targeting is the input and those text area inside the call. We have the input. Similarly, we'll also target the text area. For both of these, I will set the background color to this variable light BG, width of 100%, padding of 1 rem to the top and bottom, 2 rem to the left and right, border radius of 0.5 rem, font size of 1.7 rem, color of this variable, let's say dark gray. Let's also add a margin of 0.5 rem to the top and bottom, 0 to the left and right, and I will also add a resize of vertical. That's it. As you can see, there we have our contact section, guys. This looks nice, right? Alright, now it's time to define the add stylings to this my contact details. For that, inside the call, we have these paragraphs, so let's define those. Inside the call, we have this paragraph. For the paragraph, I will say font size of 1.7 rem, color of this variable yellow, text transform to uppercase, letter spacing of 0.1 rem. As you can see, this is what we get. Next thing which I'll be targeting is the span. Right below the paragraph, we have the span. Let's target that. Inside the span, for the span, I will add font size of 1.5 rem. I will also add a color of this variable dark gray, letter spacing of 0.1 rem. That's it. Let's see. As you can see, now we have completed our contact section as well. Let's actually showcase this. We have the home section with this header. As you can see, if I scroll down, we get this background white. Let's move on to portfolio section. As you can see, we have this hover effect. We have our resume section with these two columns, education and experience. Right after this, we have about me with these two buttons. We have client testimonial section. We have services section with this hover effect. We have this blog section, as you can see. We also have, finally, we have this contact section. Only one thing that is left now is to add our footer section. So let's start building our footer section now. Alright, now it's time to build our footer section now. Inside our index.html, right below everything, we will have our footer section starts. And this is where our footer section ends. Let's define our section with the class name of footer and an ID of footer. Inside this, let's define a division with a class name of socials. Inside this socials, we are going to have some icons. These icons, which I will be importing from the ion icons. Let's head over to ion icons. We have already imported ion icons over here in the beginning, so let's head over there. As you can see, if I actually scroll down, as you can see, we will get logos here. The logos I will be using is, the first logo which I'll be using is this Google. All you have to do is click on this and it will appear this pop-up. Copy this, click on this, and it will automatically get copied and paste it over here. That's it. That's how we can have access to our Google icon. As you can see, there is our tiny little Google icon. Similarly, we will have three more of these icons. The next one is going to be Twitter icon, and the third one YouTube, and finally LinkedIn. That's it. Let's see. As you can see, there we have all of our icons. That's it. Right after our socials, we are going to have our paragraph. This paragraph is going to say And let's head over to footer. As you can see, there we have our footer content. Let's actually style these now. Inside the CSS we have, let's define add footer. Let's actually target the footer. For the footer I will add a border to the top, sorry, wrong brackets, border to the top, point to rem, solid, this var light bg, text align to the center. That's it. Let's see. As you can see, we have added this border to the top and we have aligned the text to the center. Once we are done with that, let's now select these ion icon inside the socials. We have ion icons. Here I will footer, socials, ion icon. For the ion icon I will say font size of 2.5 rem and a color of this variable hello, background color of this variable light pg, border radius of 50%, padding of 1 rem inside, and margin 0 to the top and bottom and 1 rem to the left and right. Let's also turn the cursor to pointer. That's it. Let's see what do we have here. As you can see, this is what we have. Our footer icons styled. The one final thing which is now left to style is this paragraph. Let's get it done with that. Inside the footer we have the paragraph. For the paragraph here I will say font size of 1.7 rem, color of variable dark gray, margin to the top of 3 rem. That's it. Let's see. As you can see guys, now we have completed our footer section as well as our website. As you can see, the only thing now left now is adding some responsiveness to the build. By default this is going to be responsive since we have used grid throughout our project, but still we need to fix some styling, so let's do that right now. So let's start adding responsiveness to our build. Let's right click and open our inspect. As you can see, this is how it's gonna look in the last screens. As you can see, we have this unnecessary, I think we have this unnecessary padding over here. As you can see, this is laptop small screen. If I switch to tablet, as you can see this is automatically responsive, right? In the tablet, in the laptop we had 2 columns, as you can see, and if I switch to tablet we have 1 column. As you can see, since we have used CSS grid, this will automatically be responsive. So guys, as you can see, we have this unnecessary padding over here which is not required, right? This much of padding is not required over here also in the laptop small screens. So first thing which I'll be doing is fixing that. Let's head over to our Visual Studio Code. I will be adding media queries now. For the media queries, here I will define media queries. Alright, for the first media query which I'll be adding is media when the max width is 1200 pixels and below. This means that we are targeting everything that is 1200 pixels and below. Let's say for the header here, as you can see, for the header we further need to when we switch to 1200 pixels and below, when the screen size is 1200 pixels and below, let's reduce the padding. Alright, here I will target our header and I will reduce the padding 3 rem to the top and bottom and 2 rem to the left and right. Let's see what do we have here. As you can see, I have reduced the padding. That looks nice now, right? By default, in which we have defined where we have the header. Let's see. As you can see, by default I have added padding of 5 rem and 9%, but now I reduced it to 3 rem and 2 rem. Similarly, when the header is active, that means when the header is active, let's also say here when the header dot active, let's also set the padding to 2 rem. That's it. Let's see. As you can see, this is how it's gonna look now. Sorry for this. All right, the next thing which I'll be doing is removing this unnecessary padding over here. As you can see, all right, that's because this is because we have defined a section. By default the padding is 9 rem to the left and right. That's why we can see 9% of the padding and 5 rem to the top and bottom. Let's reduce that now. Inside here, let's select section. I will add padding of 3 rem to the top and bottom and 2 rem to the left and right. Let's see. As you can see, now I have reduced the padding over here. As you can see, that's why we get 3 columns here, 2 columns here. As you can see, this is how it should look in the laptop small screens. All right, by coming to the point where how it looks on the large screens, as you can see, this is how it's going to look in the large screens. It will have this padding which is necessary over here. As you can see, this looks perfect, right? All right, let's move on. Now we are done with the laptop small screens. All right, now let's switch to tablet screens. All right, this is how it's gonna look in the tablet screen. Everything looks perfect, everything is amazing. All right, let's move on to contact. As you can see, everything looks perfect, right? But I don't want this in the tablet screens. I don't want to display this normal navigation. I want to display our menu icon. To do that, first what I will do is another one media query which I'll be targeting is 991 pixels. Let's define that. When we hit 991 pixels and below, I want to reduce the base font size. Here I will say font size of 60%. This means that I am reducing the base font size further. By default it was 62.5%, which I set at the top. Now I am reducing it further down, font size to 60%, meaning it will reduce the font size. All right, let's see. All right, now we have reduced the font size by 5%. All right guys, now let's actually do the main thing. Let's actually switch to, before we do this, let's actually switch to mobile large screens. Don't worry about this, ignore this for now. I want to reduce the size of these, so I will add another media query. Here I will add 450 pixels. At the 450 pixels, here I will say I will further down reduce the base font size to again to 55%, again 5% when we are in the mobile screens. And also inside the home we have the hero text, right? And I will reduce the font size of that to 6 rems. That's it. Let's see what do we have here. All right, I have reduced the size of this, and I have reduced the base font size, meaning I have reduced the font size again by 5%. Let's see, we have the portfolio, we have the resume, we have about me, we have client testimonials, we have services, we have blogs, we have our contact section, and we have this footer. All right, that's it guys. Now it's time to work on our this navigation. All right, for that I will be defining another media query. As you can see, in the tablet we have the 768 pixels width, so let's add that. Right below this I will add 768 pixels media query. For this media query, first thing I will be displaying is this header.menu. We have this menu, right? By default I have set it to display none, this one. Now I'm going to set it as display of block, so that it now displays. As you can see, now we have this menu icon, but I don't want to display this. I want this to appear when I click on this. So to do that, first thing I will do is header.navbar. For the nav bar here, I will set position of fixed. From the top it's going to be 6 rem, left to the 0, right 0. Let's set the background color to this variable white. Let's see. As you can see, there we have it. Once I are done with let's also set a display of flex. Alright, the content inside it is not displaying. That means I need to target the anchor tags which are inside. For the anchor tags, I will I will set the color to this variable dark bg. I will clear out any margin being applied, so margin 0, font size of 2 rem, and let's also add a margin of 2 rem to the top and bottom and 0 to the left and right. As you can see, there we have it. Now let's continue inside the nav bar here. I have set the display of flex direction to column, align items to the center, and let's see. As you can see, this is what we have here. Alright, now I wanted to display this when I click on this, right? So to do that, what I will do is I will create a show class when this header.navbar. By default, what I will do is I will send this away by saying transform and translate x, not transition, transform and translate x to 100% so that it goes away. As you can see, it goes away now. Alright, it doesn't display yet. When this header, where did I define this? When this header, alright, okay. When this header.navbar is having the show class, which I will be adding this by using JavaScript, I will make this to come back by saying 0%. I have not yet defined this yet, but I will be adding this by using our JavaScript. So here, right above this, first thing which I will be doing is I will be storing navbar. Here I will say navbar document dot query selector inside the header, and I will select the navbar. Now we have access to the navbar. This should be a dot. Now we have stored the navbar inside over here. Alright, the another one which I need access is the menu button, right? This menu button, when I click on this, the navigation should appear, right? So I will be targeting this now. Here I will say const menu button by saying document dot query selector. Let's get access to that by saying header dot menu. Now we have access to that button. So when I click on, I will add event listener and listen for the click. This is going to be an arrow function. When I click on this button, I want this navbar to have the class which I already defined, that is show class. That's it, guys. Let's see. I will click on this. As you can see, the navbar actually appears, guys. As you can see, now we have working navbar, but one thing is, when I click on this should go away, right? To do that, what I will do is inside the JavaScript, when I scroll down, when I click on any of the menu anchor tags, it scrolls down, right? What I will do is when it scrolls, I will just remove the show class. That's it. Again, if I test this, as you can see, it goes away when I click on the anchor tags. Let's head over to portfolio. Let's head over to resume. Let's head over to about. As you can see, it works perfectly. Let's head over to contact. Similarly, if I switch to mobile last screens, if I switch to mobile small screen, as you can see, everything is responsive, guys. Completely responsive website. As you can see, let's work with this. Let's select portfolio, resume, We have about, inside the about we have this client testimonials, services, blogs, and we have this contact, and we have this amazing footer, guys. Alright guys, that's it for this adding responsiveness. As you can see, the website is completely responsive, guys. When I have this laptop screens, as you can see, laptop small screens, as you can see, we get this normal navigation, but when I switch to tablet, as you can see, we get this menu button. That's it, guys. As you can see, everything works perfectly, guys. Let's show this one more time. As you can see, we have this home section, we have this footer, this portfolio section with this hover effect. We have this resume section with this education and experience columns. We have this about section with these two buttons. We have client testimonials. We have services, my blogs, get in touch, contact section. As you can see, we have built lots of things and we have learned lots of things in this video, guys. I hope you learned lots of things in this video, and don't forget to leave a like on this video. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Guys, if you have built this website completely, don't forget to give yourself a pat on your back. You have done a great job. You have learned lots of things. Alright guys, it's time to end this video. If you haven't watched our previous videos, please make sure you watch those videos also. Similarly, I have also built a startup website, a agency website. Guys, please make sure you watch those videos also. You are going to learn lots of things in those videos also. Guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed and hope you guys learned something from this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, guys.